Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry for the little delay. I was just working on something with the door out there. My name is Ian Houston. I'm the Executive Director of the American Foreign Service Association. Thank you for being here. It's a real privilege to have you here, and it's nice to know that you found the balance of your schedules for this particular discussion. Before I turn it over to the President, Presiding Officer of the American Foreign Service Association, AFSA, Susan Johnson, I did want to recognize this week with Memorial Day coming up and Memorial Day weekend. This happens to be this week is the anniversary of what we call the Rogers Act. The Rogers Act in 1924 was the original piece of legislation which created a modern foreign service 87 years ago. And I just wanted to connect that to Memorial Day coming up. To honor all of you who are in the Foreign Service, who have had some connection with Foreign Service, to honor your service, to honor all those who are serving now and sacrificing for our country, and some of whom have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. So it's a real honor to work for an organization that represents such patriotic men and women. So thank you for being here. AFSA very much appreciates it. I'll turn over the microphone to Susan Johnson, a very experienced diplomat. Susan has been with AFSA for about 2 years, has been in Foreign Service for about 31. So we're very fortunate to have a person of her energy and enthusiasm and experience, and really a person who provides the creative space for these types of discussions to occur. So thank you. Turn it over to Susan.
Thank you, Ian. And a warm welcome to all of you. It's really a pleasure to see a number of familiar faces as well as some new ones, and to be here to be addressing this important issue of work-life balance in the Foreign Service, an issue I think that has been gathering. It's been there all along for a long time, but changing circumstances, over the decades have brought it to the fore, I think, in new ways. As Ian said, I've been a Foreign Service officer for 30 plus years, but I've been in the Foreign Service for 50 plus years. My father was a career Foreign Service officer. I grew up in it. So as I look back a little over my life, I can see that the Foreign Service has always had, special challenges and opportunities. The nature of many of those challenges is evolved with the times, and I think we've found in the last 10, 15, maybe certainly since 9/11 and slightly before, that changes in the world have imposed some new, really serious challenges to the conduct of diplomacy, and therefore to our lives, whether we're posted abroad or whether we're here. And I'm not going to go into all the domestic changes. What we're going to look at, and I want to get to our panel as soon as possible to get this discussion going. But a warm welcome to all of you. I hope that you're all, working in this area, and I look forward to hearing questions. We've tried to set up the room in a way to encourage a maximum audience participation. As some of you may know, we are working to get the most bang for the buck that we can out of our excellent monthly publication, the Foreign Service Journal. And therefore, we're looking for issues that are featured in the journal, and to see how we can build on that with kind of discussions like this that focus attention on an issue perhaps in greater depth, and bring more people around the room to share perspectives, ask questions, and benefit from the experience of some of the speakers and participants that we have here this afternoon. So, having said that, we do have, I want to introduce very briefly our panelists, because you have, I think, some pretty solid bio data there on your sheets. But we have panelists who bring, a particular perspective to this issue, and who individually and collectively, I think, are just a special set of folk. So let me start right here at this end of the table with Kathie Lingle, who is the Executive Director of the Alliance for Work-Life Progress. Kathleen was a recipient of a Work-Life Legacy Award in 2007, and that's an award that's presented to outstanding leaders who have indelibly changed the American workplace. So I think we're very fortunate to have her here engaging with the Foreign Service. Next to her, Judy Ikels. Judy's the chief of the Work-Life Division in the Office of Employee Relations, the Bureau of Human Resources at State. For 20 years, Judy has pursued a civil service careers in a whole series of positions of increasing responsibility, but always in support of employees and family members as an advocate, a friend, and I think a very insightful observer. Next, we have Faye Barnes. Faye is known to, I'm sure, if not all of you, most of you. Faye is the president of AFSW. She's also kindly agreed to moderate our discussion, but as you may know, AFSW is certainly an organization that has a rich history and real hands-on knowledge about the family and work-life issues that face Foreign Service officers and their families, so the whole Foreign Service team. Then we've got Margot Carrington. Now, Margot is an FSO who got this all started, and I have to give credit to her. She is the one who sought and got an Una Chapman Cox sabbatical leave and chose to devote it to research to challenges faced by working women and work-life balance issues in the Foreign Service. And so when she came to AFSA just to tell us about it, we were very excited to learn that she was going to look at this and wanted to support and encourage this effort, and agreed way back then that we'd like to organize something like this, whatever seemed to be appropriate. And then at the far end, we have one of my fellow board members, who's Steve Morrison. Steve is currently on assignment to the U.S. Export Assistance Center in Baltimore. He's a member of the Foreign Commercial Service. He's a valued member of the AFSA board. And he brings a special perspective to this discussion, as well as the father of a child with special education needs child. So we're very pleased to have him, and I was just asking earlier, in this whole field, is it mostly men or mostly women or mostly men?